It is January 20th, 2017, and today we're looking at, once again, all of these major Earth disturbances in the forms of earthquakes and volcanoes. And once again, we have a large coronal hole now facing Earth. We're going to get directly into this information. Now, on Monday, I'm going to have a live stream video with Terrell from the Black Star Project on YouTube. Fantastic information. And we're going to be getting into what is exactly happening with the Earth and all of these earthquakes. And Terrell has a fantastic presentation on what is actually happening right now. And you can consider this to be a warning, because what is happening to our planet right now, it's just not natural, folks. And you cannot sit back and not recognize what is now happening to this planet. We're going to go ahead and just get straight into some of the news. And right here, you're looking at the radiation levels that are coming in to the Earth. And I've showed this plenty of times before. This is our Earth right here in the center. The dotted line circling the planet is the satellite belt. And what you're seeing coming in here, and this is coming from the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of January. And you can see these increased levels of solar radiation, cosmic radiation. Folks, whatever you want to call it, the radiation levels are bad. They're elevated very, very high. This is definitely something to worry about, because we live on this planet. We go outside. We are exposed to all of these elements. Now, getting directly into what's happening around the world with the earthquakes. Well, let's just take a look at this map of the entire Earth. And as you can clearly see, let's just move over here to the United States. We're starting to see earthquakes in areas that normally do not see a lot of earthquake activity. Now, right now, up in Alaska, you could see quite a big swarm of earthquake activity. Now, I do know that there was another earthquake way far in the upper tier of Canada. Once again, a magnitude 4.4. Now, this is the second earthquake that we've had up in that region. I believe it was last week. There was another earthquake in that island area of northern Canada. As you can see, over in the Middle East, 5.2 in China, 4.5 in Pakistan, and the South Pacific. Yes, it is very, very active. Now, we're going to go ahead and just look at the European model, because right now, Italy is really under the gun. They had a catastrophe there yesterday involving that small hotel that was a victim of first an earthquake and then an avalanche, wiping out the hotel. Many people injured, many people lost their lives. But as you can see, once again, you're looking at very elevated earthquake activity in this part of Europe and the Mediterranean. And this is no joke, folks. This is happening on a minute-by-minute basis all around the world. Now, this is just the past 24 hours. And not all of these earthquakes are listed on this map. This is the European model. And as you can see, there were some very large earthquakes in the Solomon Islands. Magnitude 6.7, followed by a few more 6.5, 6.7 tremors. Well, I personally think those were additional earthquakes. And this area of the world, well, what they call the Ring of Fire, it's very active, folks. They're not showing anything up here in Alaska. That would be on the USGS, and it's just littered with earthquakes. Something that I noticed moving into these seismograms this morning, the heliplots. Once again, the same type of disturbance, and these were much, much larger than what we viewed last week. And as you can see, whatever this disturbance is, it's traveling across the globe. I mean, this is for Massachusetts. They normally don't have earthquakes. But are these registering as earthquakes, or are these seismic devices picking up some other type of disturbance that's plaguing our planet? And we're going to keep on going through those. Once again, Standing Stone, Pennsylvania, very, very heavy anomaly. And you could move right through these. I'll leave links to all of this information, and you can analyze it yourself. But this goes on and on for all of the seismic devices that are placed in all of these areas, every single one of them across the United States registered very, very heavy anomalies, and they're all pretty close to the same time. And we keep, trying to investigate and find out what is causing these types of disturbances with the earth, especially if you're not in an area that is prone to earthquakes. And once again, I'll leave a link to this information so you can familiarize yourself with it and get used to reading them and looking at them. And something that we've always touched on here over the past 2 months now is the coronal holes that just keep turning towards Earth. I don't think we've had a break in over the last 6 weeks. And when I was viewing this 48-hour piece of footage, I don't know what in the hell just happened to the camera on this craft that is viewing the sun. Either something disturbed the entire satellite craft. I don't know if that was NASA adjusting the camera position, but several days ago I noticed the same thing happen. And I don't know, folks. I don't know if it's being buffered by these solar winds, other disturbances. But once again, anything that comes from NASA, it's very hard to judge because, I'm not a big fan of NASA. But anyways, we're going to keep moving forward here into our space weather. The solar wind speed has actually gone up over the past few days. That would definitely have to do with the coronal hole that is now facing the Earth. And we will be buffered by this solar wind. And as you can see right over here in the left-hand corner, 549.3 kilometers per second. That's about equivalent to 1.2 million miles per hour. So that is probably reaching the Earth as we speak. Now, one thing that was in the space weather today that I thought was pretty cool, because I've been receiving a lot of photographs from subscribers from all over the world of these sundogs, as they call them, or very large double sun halos. And this was taken up in Alaska, and we'll just go ahead and click on the photograph, bring it up, and this is a good zoomed in view. And scientists are stating that this double halo in this sundog is something that's very, very rare. Well, there you go. I don't know about it being very, very rare, but over the past 6 months, I've accumulated hundreds of photographs taken from people all around the world showing this sundog with a double halo. And it makes you wonder sometimes if the scientists are even telling the truth. Now, just the other day, I received 2 photographs from one of our subscribers in the state of Minnesota showing this exact type of photograph, a double halo around the sun with, the sundog, as they call it, in the middle. Spectacular photographs, but are they rare? They haven't been rare as of lately. They've been showing up in a lot of photographs from around the world. Now, they claim this has to do with ice crystals in the atmosphere and blah, blah, blah. But yet, we're seeing them with increased frequency. At least I am. And my subscribers from around the world are sending the photographs in, and they all look like this. So, there you go, folks. We are, once again, under the gun of Earth disturbances, and we've still yet to be given an answer on what is exactly happening. Now, I'm just going to give you my straight opinion. It is my opinion and my belief that our planet is being disturbed, shaken, rattled by a lot of different things that are occurring with our sun. And the high possibility of our sun being disturbed by the theory of the nemesis brown dwarf star within our solar system, creating the internal pressure and the heating of the Earth's core. Is this possible? Yes, it is highly possible. And I'm just going to come right out and say it. If somebody tells you that this is impossible, well, they're lying to you. Straight lying to you. Now, I've seen a few videos using this astronomy program called Sandbox. And it allows you to put many different objects into the solar system and run animated models. Well, last week I saw an individual running one of these Sandbox models and placing a brown dwarf star into the animation and what it would do to the planets in our solar system. Well, naturally, they were trying to debunk a Planet X video, so they basically entered all of the information that would cause the planets to just be ejected out into the solar system. However, one of my subscribers, who is truthful and knows how to use this Sandbox astronomy program, did several different simulations using different figures and different elements pertaining to this brown dwarf star in our solar system. Now, using elements that were basically off the chart, yes, it created havoc within the solar system, ejecting planets out into deep space, freezing them solid like a popsicle. But then, as you change some of these elements and the configurations of the brown dwarf in our solar system, things changed. Planets were no longer ejected into the outer solar system and out into deep space. Planets were perturbed. There were disturbances. But in his computer simulation using this software, the Earth underwent a slight freeze, meaning the Earth got somewhat cooler, but not the entire Earth. Mainly, when I viewed his animation using that program, it just seemed like the North Pole, or the northern polar cap of our planet, expanded quite a bit. But it fluctuated, like it does now, normally. But there were major disturbances with all of the planets in the solar system. Were planets ejected into deep space? No, they were not. So what I'm trying to tell you, folks, is there is always the art of deception, especially when it comes to science and things that you don't really understand, things that are so technical that only a scientist or a very well-schooled astronomer would understand. And then when you use these computer animated models, it's very easy to manipulate and configure these models to do what you want them to do. I'm not a big fan of them because of the deception. So remember, on Monday, I'm going to be doing a live YouTube hangout with Terrell from the Black Star Project on YouTube. He has a wealth of information. We've done one interview together already. And he knows that I have a concern about the earthquake and volcanic activity which has been increasing on this planet. Crazy weather all over the planet. Some areas are just absolutely freezing, and some areas are just absolutely boiling. We have very strange temperatures around the globe. I mean, especially where I live. I live on the East Coast. It's the middle of January. My temperatures here should be in the single digits at night and not reaching more than 25 degrees Fahrenheit during the day. However, the temperatures have been close to 60 degrees. This entire week and going into next week, we are going to have mild weather in the mid-50s. So if you can sit back and you can tell me that all of this is normal and there's nothing going on within our solar system, there's nothing happening to our sun, and nothing is abnormal, well, I just have to call you a quack. I would just have to call you a quack. Stay tuned, folks. We're going to be coming up with more and more information each and every day. We're going to dig till we find the absolute truth, or close to it. This is our planet. We deserve and we have the right to know what's going on. Remember, all of us pay taxes. All of the spacecraft that are up orbiting our planet, shooting down information to NASA and the JPL and everyone else, we paid for all of it. Don't ever forget that. Our tax dollars put everything into space. So therefore, we should be given the information. We should not have to go out there and seek and decipher anything. We should be given the truth. And that's what I'm seeking. I want the truth. Thank you for watching the Nibiru channel. We'll be back later on this afternoon with another report. Hello everybody, welcome back to the Nibiru channel. It is January 20th, 2017. And today we're looking at, once again, all of these major earth disturbances in the forms of earthquakes and volcanoes. And once again, we have a large coronal hole now facing Earth. We're going to get directly into this information. Now, on Monday, I'm going to have a live stream video with Terrell from the Black Star Project on YouTube. Fantastic information. And we're going to be getting into what is exactly happening with the Earth and all of these earthquakes. And Terrell has a fantastic presentation on what is actually happening right now. And you can consider this to be a warning, because what is happening to our planet right now, it's just not natural, folks. And you cannot sit back and not recognize what is now happening to this planet. We're going to go ahead and just get straight into some of the news. And right here, you're looking at the radiation levels that are coming in to the Earth. And I've showed this plenty of times before. This is our Earth right here in the center. The dotted line circling the planet is the satellite belt. And what you're seeing coming in here, and this is coming from the 16th, 17th, 18th, and 19th of January. And you can see these increased levels of solar radiation, cosmic radiation. Folks, whatever you want to call it, the radiation levels are bad. They're elevated very, very high. Now, this is definitely something to worry about, because we live on this planet. We go outside. We are exposed to all of these elements. Now, getting directly into what's happening around the world with the earthquakes. Well, let's just take a look at this map of the entire Earth. And as you can clearly see, let's just move over here to the United States. We're starting to see earthquakes in areas that normally do not see a lot of earthquake activity. Now, right now, up in Alaska, you could see quite a big